Okay, in our today's class, we are going to discuss about measurement. Okay, we will also discuss about different types of scales. Actually, measurement deals with measurement of data because we need to capture data. We have to go with analysis to come to various conclusions. So in this angle, what we have to remember is data can be classified into different categories based on its nature. But broadly, we can classify them as qualitative and quantitative data. The particular nature of quantitative data is that it is possible for us to know when we, just one second. Sorry, I'm just coming back. So in our today's class, we are going to discuss about measurement and scaling. And as we all know, measurement is related to data that is being collected and for the research purpose. The measurement aspect, it varies based on the nature of the data. Uh, broadly, we can categorize data into qualitative as well as quantitative data. Now, the particular nature of a qualitative data is that uh, most of it may not be suitable to perform various statistical operations. Like, no, we may not be able to perform mean, or as we say, go with different computations involving correlation or regression models, all that. That may be considered as the limitation of qualitative data. They require special kind of treatments like the sentence repetition or word repetition, vocabulary repetition, or different of simulation analysis which needs to be done when we are talking about qualitative data. But that's not the case of a quantitative data. Depending on the nature, in the sense normal or normality assumption, parametric tests are being used when we go with the normality assumptions. So likewise, we can go with performing different statistical operations with respect to quantitative data for arriving at the conclusion. So it is more authenticated because the result is repetitive in nature. You can conduct the test, okay, and it is based on some valid evidence with the support of statistical tools. So data can be of broadly of two types: qualitative data and quantitative data. And scaling is something that is dependent on the nature of data. Uh, the tools used for measurement also will be dependent on the type of data we have in hand, right? In this context, we are just trying to look at how can we go with different quantitative and qualitative data. Now, when I'm talking about the first qualitative types, uh, the number one would be categorical data, which is otherwise called as qualitative or descriptive data. Say, for example, when I'm talking about certain attributes, it is very difficult to express that in numbers. We can assign numbers, but does that number carry some meaning is something beyond beyond further analysis, because that's just for the namesake, for the identification sake. We give some numbers to data. Okay, say I have put an example here: gender. Maybe I put two categories, male and female, right? And what I will go with analyzing is, at the time of coding, I might give one for male and two for female, but that one and two is just for the purpose of representation. It does not carry anything. Yes, my connection was lost. Back now. Okay. From yesterday's experience, I'm little vigilant. Okay. Right. So we are talking about the quantitative and qualitative data. So the first one that is coming to our explanation point of view is categorical data. Categorical data talks about it can be names, it can be representation of certain category of population, it can be certain denominations which are represented by maybe geographical locations, right? So the basic nature of categorical data is they are qualitative in its nature, but we assign certain numbers to this data for the purpose of going with the coding purpose for entering data into our Excel sheet or maybe to our software for further analysis. So that's what I was trying to say. Suppose if I'm assigning 1 to male and 2 to female, that 1 and 2 does not carry any further meaning. That just goes with representation. Yeah, male respondents are represented using 1, yeah, numerical number 1, and female respondents are represented by using numerical number 2. That's it. That's just for the purpose of representation. Likewise, when I'm talking about no, I am very careful about the educational qualification of my respondent. So I just asked about their education, and I'm going to represent respondents having a higher secondary educational level as 1, respondents having a graduation as the educational level as 2, respondents having their post-graduation as 3, respondents having other type of educational qualification as 4. Now, does this 1, 2, 3, 4 carry something, some meaning more than just representation? The answer would be no. So that is just a representation of different categories of population, right? Using numbers, but those numbers are not suitable to any further statistical test. They just say us, okay, how many are there in male group, how many are there in female group. That's it. Maximum we can go with computation of percentage, right? So such type of data is what we call as categorical data. Now ordinal data is the one, suppose if I'm looking at arranging that, okay, I'm going to arrange that in some kind of order, right? uh, uh, that's why, just to avoid the confusion, I have put educational qualification here also, because educational qualification, if I'm looking at an order, a degree, like higher secondary being the lowest, graduation above that, post graduation above that, maybe professional qualification above the post graduation. So if I'm trying to arrange that in some ordinal, in some order, such data is called as ordinal data. Another example is a student, no, you are just presenting the rank obtained by students in a class. So you will be arranging that in some kind of orderly manner. So if that is the case, that is called as ordinal data. Another example, real-time example, is suppose I'm going to give some features of a particular product, and I ask my respondents to rank in the order of your preference, like 1 to the most preferred quality of that product, 2 to the least, no, maybe second most preferred, 3 to the third most preferred, and 6 to the least preferred. So likewise, I'm asking them to arrange that in order. So that also, such type of data also will be coming under the category of ordinal data. But there are inequalities between this 1 and 6. But exactly what is the difference, of how much is the difference? It's not quantifiable. It's not equal. So I cannot say that the difference between rank 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 is equal. No, I'm just arranging that based on some justification, some logical sequencing. So such type of data is called as ordinal, which are arranged in some, or which could be arranged in some order. And here also, we cannot go with using any of the sophisticated statistical tools, because the data is less of quantifiable in nature. Now coming with the next two categories, which is interval data and ratio data, are the ones that are capable of going with some kind of further statistical analysis using different statistical tools. The primary difference between interval data and ratio data. Interval data, of course, I'm talking about respondents. No, maybe if I'm talking about a temperature, that's why I put that as an example. It is always quoted as a good example, where I'm establishing a scale data, like temperature ranging from 50 to 60, temperature situation, how many times in a month temperature went between 50 to 60, how many times in a month temperature went between 60 and 70, or how many times it went between 20 and 30. So likewise, I'm establishing a scale. Even though there is equal difference, like 10, 20 and 30, 30 and 40, there is equal difference. But the problem here is the assumption of a base value of 0 is arbitrary. Why I say arbitrary is, it's very easy for you to understand in case of temperature, because 0 is arbitrarily fixed at the freezing point of the water. So as there is change in the freezing point of water, the zero, the value, the representation of 0 to other values also will vary. So arbitrarily we are going to fix 0. Or when I'm talking about 0, it's not about a complete absence. It's not about complete absence. But what I'm talking about is, it's a situation which is arbitrarily fixed. Say, for example, if I say that IQ of a student, 0, it ranges from 0 to 10. When I'm saying 0, it's not absolutely 0, but it's fixed as arbitrarily, almost, or maybe near to, but it's not total absence. Such data, which can be established into different interval, okay, it is possible of distinguishing between the difference between two scales. Inequalities are represented, but it's the absence of a complete 0. That's a basic difference between ratio data and the interval scale. In case of ratio data also, all these qualities are there. But when I'm saying 0, it is 0 itself. Say, for example, the sales of a company. When I'm talking about the sales of a company for the current month is 0, that means it is 0 itself. It's total absence. So such type of data will be called as ratio data, which is considered to be the most sophisticated data that is suitable for further statistical analysis. So it has been said that as far as possible, if we are planning for some model building or some going with some statistical analysis, our data representation should be in interval or in ratio form. It should be in interval data or in the form of ratio data. So for example, age we can represent in different way, right? If I'm talking about a person 0 years and 20 years old, I can clearly identify what is the difference between these two, right? So such data, that is when a number is being represented, it can be correctly identified, it's fixed. Such data will be called as ratio data. So based on these, so when we were talking about qualitative data, mostly that will come under the category of categorical, and the rest all quantitative can be broadly categorized into ordinal data, interval data, and ratio data, depending upon the purpose of a study. Now, this itself is the logic in developing various scales. This itself is the theory that is applied for the development of various scales. Now let's look at that. So for example, there are n number of scales, but broadly in social science research, we can classify the measurement scales into 4 categories, that is nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, as well as ratio scale. And nominal scale, it is related with categorical data. Maybe we can talk about your age, your gender, or maybe no, in certain cases, location of the respondent, or maybe educational qualifications, or maybe annual income. Annual income, of course, if you want, you can also establish that into ordinal data depending upon how you treat it. But if it is assigned with a number that does not carry any further meaning, that will be brought under the category of categorical data. Like name, say suppose if I'm giving respondent 1, 1, respondent 2, 2, or students in a class is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That does not have any meaning than just a representation. Such type of data will be called as nominal data. Nominal scale, such type of data will be represented through scale called nominal scale. Now, ordinal is those data that can be arranged in an order, okay, but so we can represent the inequalities, but the inequalities are not equal. It's not, there is no equal distancing between these, like 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, there is nothing. Suppose if I'm asking somebody to rank in the order of your preference, yes, I prefer this particular, maybe the color of the product as 1, maybe the taste of the product as 2, but when I look at the difference between 1 and 2, it's very difficult for me to quantify. Such type of data will be called as ordinal data. And when we are representing ordinal data through scales, that will be ordinal scale. Okay. Now the third category is interval, where equal distancing is made. Okay, equal distancing is made between 2 variables. Say for example, if I'm talking about the height of a person, if I'm talking about between 5 to 6 feet, or between 3 to 4 feet, right, or 5 to 6 feet, 6 to 7 feet. Likewise, equal distance. I can quantify what is the difference between these scale exactly. So that is interval scale. And ratio scale, it happens to be same, but what we have to understand is here this is little more sophisticated. Say for example, the best example where I can say in case of ratio scale is the example which I was mentioning about height, or when I was talking about weight, or when I was talking about profit. If I'm talking about zero profit, 0 sales, I know it is total absence. Right, but I'm talking about a case where a person is talking about satisfaction level as 0, but that does not mean it is actual 0, but maybe an element is near to 0, but it is difficult to fix that the value of 0 in that case as total absence. If that is the case, that will be called as the arbitrary 0 position, which will be brought under interval scale. But when you are really going with computation, the scale, the data is supposed to be good for going with further analysis. Say for example, I'm going with study on customer satisfaction, so I can go with different attributes. Okay, different attributes that are leading to customer satisfaction. Maybe I make a statement with respect to product quality, right? Then I make a statement with respect to product price. Then I make a statement with respect to maybe product availability, right? And the particular thing with what you have to remember is I am establishing that as agree, disagree, strongly disagree into a scaled one. And now I know that I'm going to give some value to all these. Say for example, strongly agree means I give a point of 5. Agree means I give a point of 4. No opinion, I give a point of 3. Disagree means I give a point of 2. Strongly disagree, I give a point of 1. So when I'm going with a computation, I'm going to total up all the attributes, like 5 statements I made with scale data. The total of sum what I get for this 5 statements, that will be the total marks or total value which I'm going to give for customer satisfaction as an attribute, as a variable. So that is the index which I've got for customer satisfaction. So that becomes a ratio scale that can range, that can take any value from maybe 1 to 5. It's continuous. It can take any value based on the feedback I get based on the result of my survey. So that is the particular nature of ratio scale is number can be established as continuous one, continuous series. So broadly, we can say that the scales that are used in social science research, apart from that, there are many, but primarily can be classified into 4. That is nominal scale, which talks about categorical data; ordinal scale, which talks about data which can be arranged in order; and interval scale and ratio scale, where there is arrangement of data in a scaled form, where we can identify the inequalities as well as the differences correctly. So this is the category of different category of scales that are used for measuring data in a social science research. Okay, now there is an exercise for your part, that is, you have to